More than 67 million people don't know what is coming. But according to experts, they are now telling us this could mean complete devastation in the near future. Now, I'm going to address what's going on here, who these 67 million people are, and why what is happening today could mean complete devastation in the near future. So again, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So first off, we have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we are making progress when it comes to some of these wars, both in Ukraine and in Gaza. The good news out today is that Israel has agreed to reopen the southern Gaza border crossing to permit more aid into the region. Because I have shown you different articles, different videos where people are starving. Children are lined up with pots trying to get some food. Doesn't even matter what it is. They just want to eat something. They want clean water. They want medicine. They just want to live and survive. That's the good news, is they're going to open up the borders. We got other good news as well. The Pentagon leaders are going to head to Israel as the U.S. is urging caution in Gaza. Now, why is this such good news? Well, the reason why this is good news is because we are now starting to see the Pentagon and President Biden himself are pushing Israel to at least try to save and protect civilians in Gaza. But the 67 million people that don't know what is coming, this has nothing to do with Gaza. But in the end, it will have everything to do with Gaza. Now, let me explain. What's happening right now is we are seeing Social Security beneficiaries. Their benefits are now potentially in question. Yes, this is the 67 million people that I'm talking about. 67 million people are collecting Social Security benefits every single month here in the United States. And according to reports, that could be in severe question very soon. Here's why. Now, in order to understand exactly what's going on here, we need to kind of take a step back. And we're going to go all the way back to when a former Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, took over. He took over earlier on this year. When he took over, the former Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, stepped down. She is a Democrat. Kevin McCarthy is a Republican. In order for Kevin McCarthy to get the speakership, he had to provide some concessions. And in doing so, one of those concessions was any single person could call for the removal of the speaker. They did that, and Kevin McCarthy was ousted. But in his time as the Speaker of the House, and before he was ousted as the Speaker, the big deal that he made was with President Biden. Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden made a backroom handshake deal where Kevin McCarthy said, "We will agree to a government spending cap for fiscal year 2024. That is exactly what lawmakers are supposed to be working on now, because come January 19th, that will expire. So that was the deal that got him ousted. The issue, though, is that the next thing that came from that, and that was on October 7th, Hamas decided to attack and take hostages. Okay, they attacked Israel and they took hostages. Even to this day, they have about 170 hostages that they have not let go. That is what Israel is trying to get back. But at the same time, they're trying to end Hamas. Now, here's why all this matters to Social Security beneficiaries. Democrats say that Republicans made this deal with Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and they have to honor that. Republicans say that is not the Speaker of the House. They will not honor that moving forward. So Democrats are trying to come up with a new way, a new plan to pass the government funding bill. In order for them to do that, they have to agree with Republicans. How are we going to pass this bipartisan bill? Well, one of the ways is to any additional funding that Democrats want to spend, it has to be pulled from other programs. One of those things that they are trying to fund is $14.3 billion for Israel. That money would then be pulled out from the IRS. That's at least the plan that Republicans have. Democrats say, no, we can't do that. Well, here's where things get even trickier. There's also a $60 billion plan, $60 billion that's potentially going to go to Ukraine. Well, Republicans say that's fine, but in order for us to pass $60 billion for Ukraine, we have to have some Republican priorities. One of those is a stricter border policy. Now, here's where Social Security comes in. A couple things are happening. Republicans want a stricter border policy, and Democrats say we could potentially do that in exchange for $60 billion to Ukraine, $14.3 billion to Israel, and some additional aid to Gaza. Well, Republicans then came back and said, that's fine. We can give you $60 billion to Ukraine. We can give you $14.3 billion to Israel and money for Gaza. That is definitely needed and important. But we don't just want stricter border policies because Republicans and Democrats can't agree there. We want that, plus we want the Trump tax cuts. We want the research and development, the full deductibility. We want that back because that expired in 2022. So that brings us up to today. What we are now hearing is that Democrats and Republicans are coming closer to an agreement. The problem is that might put into question any additional benefits for Social Security recipients. We may see, and I just want to throw this out there, but we don't know. We may see that the Social Security, the full retirement age, it could go up. It's not going to go down. It could go up by 1 year. That would actually mean about a 7% cut to Social Security's lifetime benefits. Okay? The other thing is depending on, and we don't know this yet, we have no clue what the legislation will look like, okay, what the verbiage is going to say. But based off of what we are hearing, if we see stricter border policies that are in favor of Republicans, there's a good chance that's going to limit the amount of people that come into the United States. There's going to be a limit for the amount of people we let in on asylum, for protection. If that happens, that also means we will see a reduction in tax revenue. So if we see a reduction in tax revenue, that will mean that Social Security's trust fund could become insolvent sooner than 2034. So that's in 10 years. So keep that in mind. Once Social Security's trust fund becomes insolvent, whether it's in 2034, 2032, or 2075, doesn't matter. At that point, you're going to see your benefits go from 100% down to about 78% per month. That's going to be a massive drop of 22% every single month. Again, if you're struggling to live on your benefits today, in 10 years, it will be almost impossible. Now, here's something I can tell you. Democrats feel like they still have some wiggle room, but according to reports, Democrats are actually backing themselves into a corner. This is one of the reasons why they are saying 67 million people could actually miss out on some of their benefits. They could struggle very soon because of what Democrats are about to do. They're about to agree to a deal with Republicans. But depending on what this deal looks like, this is where Democrats and Republicans both have to be careful. But based off of the reports today, they are now saying that Democrats have to be careful, for one. The second thing is, if President Biden and the Biden administration could persuade and urge Benjamin Netanyahu to a ceasefire, to protect the civilians in Gaza, if this whole war could just end immediately, like within the next 1 to 2 weeks, this would be huge, because in 2 weeks' time, we know that Congress will come back into session. This means that the Senate will be back. Well, they're also going to be here on Monday as well. But the House of Representatives already went on recess. They're away for the winter break. They're away for Christmas and the holidays. They'll come back in about 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks, if this war could end between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, this would be a massive win for the Biden administration. And this could actually put more pressure on Congress to pass additional benefits that are helping Social Security recipients, not hurting them. But again, it comes down to these wars. Right now, the Biden administration is struggling. They have their hands tied because we are trying to pass an additional $60 billion for Ukraine to ensure that Russia doesn't take over Ukraine, and now Russia is closer to our NATO allies. Because then, according to reports just out this morning, this would actually push and pressure the Biden administration to make sure that there's more of a military presence in the area. Okay? And if that happens, that's Eastern Europe. If that happens, it's going to be more expensive for us, more expensive for taxpayers. Okay? We are going to see our deficit grow even more. And if this happens, that's less of a chance to see any increase to Social Security benefits. But again, this is why many are saying this could be complete devastation, depending on what this looks like, what this bill looks like, and what these negotiations look like over the next couple of weeks. So, just wanted to fill you in on this because it's not just Social Security, it's Medicare, it is nutrition assistance, SNAP benefits, there's affordable housing. Everything is on the table at this point because Republicans say we cannot go deeper into debt, but Democrats say we cannot lose this war between Russia and Ukraine. So that's where we're at this time. I know it's very confusing. There's a lot of moving parts here, but just wanted to fill you in on what's happening as of today. So as we get more information, as we get some clarity, I promise I'll come back. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.